sometimes the person sitting here gets it and the person there doesn't, and it's just like, sorry, but stay away from my section, okay? That's the way it goes. I mean, that's just the way the cookie crumbles. How nice the sofrito is. Nice. That's really the way the sofrito is supposed to look. Okay, time to add the rice. Now, let's see, we want to do a thin layer. I'm not really sure if it's going to be 3, 4, or 5 cups. I'm looking for that the rice covers the bottom of the pan, but not in a thick layer. So it should be like, you know, 2 or 3 grains of rice thick at the most. So that's 1. This is 3. Okay, I think we can do another one. 4.
Probably 5.
I think so. But spread it out all the way and see what it looks like if you just go all the way to the edge. You just kind of see. Yeah. Yeah, we can do 5. Once we add the liquid, it'll spread out much more evenly. Yeah, okay, 5 cups of rice. So this is my initial instinct. My instincts are good. Okay, start spreading it out as evenly as you can. You want, before you start adding liquid, you want it to be as smooth as possible. You can't do too much in this right yet, but. 5, 3. I can't talk because I'm counting, and I'll lose track. 4, 5. So just taste this so you know what this is like. I think this is really good. That's a nice fish broth. Nice fish broth. 5. This is a mussel broth. You're going to taste it different. Oh, let me turn up the heat. 6. 7. 5 cups. So I'm going to do 15 cups of broth. Okay. So we're going to do this, right? 8, 9, 10.
Bad, right?
Now, what you're doing here is you're not stirring. The only thing is that you have to spread it to make it even. That's your only goal at this point, okay? Every time you pour liquid in, it makes a hole, like it pushes rice around. So you have to kind of like make sure that you're doing it. But before it comes to a boil, that's your only chance to get the rice even. Because once it's boiling, you can't touch it. So right now, just that's all you're looking for. Okay, I need you to do 5 more. 1. So at this point, 1. At this point when I do the liquid, I basically try to spread it so that I'm not like pushing the rice all over. 2. We gotta get to 5. 3. 4. 5. Another thing you have to do is make sure that your broth is really well seasoned, because if it doesn't have enough salt in it, the rice it falls flat, and you have to season it a little more than what you think. Okay, so it's like you would say, okay, that's well salted. It tastes like it could be a soup, right? Like soup salted. You taste it for salt, and you're like, I'm not sure. Should I add more salt? Add more salt.
Gotcha.
Because that's like that, you know, it's at this point you're like, no, I don't need to add more salt. You can tell right now. I can taste the salt. Like, I go just to the point where it's like, the salt is noticeable, but not like, ooh. It's
not like the ocean. Not like the ocean.
Yeah. At this point, we are on the clock, and so it should be 10 minutes at sort of a strong boil until it gets down to remember I told you the rice and the liquid are kind of at the same. So we should look at your clock. Because if it starts boiling too fast, we need to add more liquid. I think it's probably been cooking for like 4 minutes at a boil. It's come to a boil about 4 minutes ago. So at the 8-minute mark, we want to check. So I'm going to put it on for 4 more minutes. Okay. Because it's between 8 and 10 minutes that we want to see that. You see how it's already coming up? That's too soon. Like
so
it
lower?
No, because I want it to cook at a good vigorous. So what I'm going to do is we're still in time to add we're still in time to add liquid. You don't want to add liquid after the beginning if possible, but up until the 8 to 10 minute mark, if I see that it's going a little bit too quickly, I do sometimes, just because I don't want to come up short and have no liquid. If you're at like the last 5 minutes of cooking and you're like, the rice is dry, there's no more liquid, but it's not done, it's still,
Right.
it's kind of late to start adding liquid at that point.
When you have 50 people,
You might have to.
and the rice is not
Look,
ready, you add more.
We've all done it.
You add more.
We've all done it.
I mean, ideally,
Ideally, you don't, but
exactly. Ideally, I know I have my measurements, so the liquid I put at the beginning,
It should
I know
right.
it's gonna. I mean, I've done it millions of times.
Right.
I have the measurements already set
perfect.
up.
Yeah.
Right.
But if something happens, it's better to eat
Yes. Cooked rice
Cooked.
and crunchy rice,
or
right?
burn.
Or burned. Yes, because
I mean,
what will
if
happen
it starts
is
burning underneath and it starts smelling, I mean,
yeah, because if you wait too long to add the liquid, and you're like, oh, and you taste the rice, you're like, the rice is not done, but it's already started to burn. You can add liquid, but you can't get rid of that. It's like once it starts caramelizing on the bottom, it gets in there. I'm going to taste the broth and see what's going on here.
Look, I mean, you just put it on
The
the
only
same.
thing is that you have to
same
fit it in
spot.
the exact same
Yeah.
spot. Okay, so what I'm doing here is I'm turning up the outer one because I can see I don't have socarrat here, right?
Right.
So I'm turning it up because I want to move it along. But the inside one is done, so I'm going to turn it off. So you can feel like it's, once it starts getting the socarrat, here, feel it again.
Yeah, the resistance.
You want to give it a little bit of time, but you don't want to go too far. And use your nose, because the second you start smelling even the littlest bit of like burning, turn it off. Kind of the art part of there's the art and the science, or there's the art and the technique. And the technique, usually, but the art is like getting the socarrat, and sometimes this has ever happened to you, Pablo. I get perfect socarrat. I know it's perfect. I put a lid on, or I put the cover on. I let it rest, and then take it off, and then the socarrat is gone. It's like steamed off. It's not stuck.
Well, I
Does
think
that ever
because-
happen to you?
No, because I don't cover it. Usually I don't
Oh,
cover
you
it.
don't.
The only reason
Yeah.
I cover it is because guests are not there yet, so I have
Right.
to cover the paella,
so
which
you
I don't like.
Yeah.
Or if I have seafood and it's not cooked, sometimes I just give it like 3-4 minutes to cook the
Yeah, to
seafood.
finish the seafood.
But I open it up, and then sometimes I cheat. I just go with both burners or 3. All,
Yeah.
high.
Yeah, that's the cheating to create
Yeah.
the socarrat.
Okay.
But
And-
For like 20 seconds or a couple seconds.
No, like a minute. Don't
You-
walk
you
away.
just have to
You just
get
have to be
the
there.
feeling.
Like listen,
Right.
like
You
listen
get the
what's
feeling.
going on. You hear that?
Yeah.
It's making socarrat right now. Right? It's making. You can hear it crackling. So just stay close. Keep checking. You might need to move the pan. Like
Watch out.
yeah, like I can tell that we're getting it right where the flame is, but we're not getting it here.
Because I don't stress
You
a
don't
lot
stress
on
the
the
socarrat?
socarrat,
Right.
if it comes,
Yeah.
I rather have a nice paella than a burnt paella.
Yeah. No.
Because if you burn it and you have 50 people,
Yeah, you're in trouble.
they are gonna eat you
Yeah.
alive.
Yeah.
Because
No.
you're hungry. So
No, and the whole thing about socarrat is kind of in Spain. It's like if you get it, you're lucky, and if you don't,
well, it's the way
Yeah.
I feel it.
Yeah.
Because some people, socarrat, let's
Yeah.
Pablo socarrat. I say, hey, there is a fine line
yeah, between
between toasty rice
And burned
rice. So if you
Exactly.
burn it, you're gonna like it.
yeah,
So if
exactly,
it comes, it comes.
exactly. That's
If
exactly
it doesn't come, next time.
Right.
Call me
Yeah.
another time.
Yeah.
I'll try it.
And I'm totally with you on that. It's like if you get it, you win,
Okay.
and if you don't get it, you're like next time I'll get it.